my beautiful Atlantis Scalar peeps and my beautiful Channeling Eric peeps. I have always talked, as you know, for a long time about low-dose naltrexone and how beneficial it can be. And, you know, for some of you guys that want Scalar services for certain conditions, I frankly would save money. And I'm not trying to, well, I am trying to talk you out of spending money on Atlantis Scalar, but, you know, a lot of times LDN, which is only $46 a month, works really well for certain things. So let me read something here. Well, this is a letter from a Channeling Eric blog member sent to me a long time ago. Dear Dr. Medhus, trusting all is well with you. I had to pop you a further mail to give you an update since advising you via the voice message not long ago that Channeling Eric video advice on treating cancer led me to taking LDN when diagnosed on Christmas Eve. Oh, Merry freaking Christmas. Well, after my cancer diagnosis, I started taking LDN, low-dose naltrexone, after having researched it for some 6 months earlier and after seeing the video on the channel. In spite of my oncologist and the gastrosurgeon telling me to prepare for the worst, as even with the best results, I was destined for a permanent colostomy and a life-changing colostomy op with further chemo thereafter. Oh, geez. I went through 5 weeks of daily chemo and radiation and had very few side effects. That's true. LDN mitigates the horrible side effects of chemo and radiotherapy. Okay, even after the most common side effects that happen to everyone, all caps, did not happen to me. I'm convinced taking LDN made all the difference. On May 17th, after a CT, MRI, scan, physical exam, further scope, and finally a full body PET scan, not a trace of the cancer could be found. The doctors are bewildered. They have no explanation for it. They have no idea I was taking the LDN, as they obtained a script from a local GP I found who really understands the benefits of LDN. The gastrosurgeon actually stated that not a single patient of his with my type of cancer, adenocarcinoma, has ever walked away with a full AP resection colostomy being performed, and he's never seen that type of cancer just disappear. I'm sure he's still scratching his head, LOL. I went from stage 3B in 1 on Christmas Eve, 18, to no cancer or operation needed at all by the 17th of May, 2019. I therefore had to share the good news with you. My mother, unfortunately, is still battling her cancer, but I do think age and other factors have a lot to do with that. At least I am once again able to fully support my mother through her battle without having to deal with my own cancer issues. Take care. Thank you thank you as always for the great work you do. Oh, I have thanked Eric profoundly too. Without him and your platform, I would not be sitting here cancer free and back to being myself. I wish I could shout it from the rooftops for other patients to try. And that's what I'm going to do. I think we should see many more miracles if they did, with much love and gratitude. Now, GlaxoSmithKline came out with some news about a new form of immunotherapy. The initial study has stunned doctors because there was 100% cure. You don't see that in studies. So it starts with a D. I can't remember the name of it, but also if you have cancer, look into that as well. Also, if you use IV alpha lipoic acid with the LDN for advanced stage cancers, it often, and then IV alpha lipoic acid is also extremely safe and non-toxic. It has together cured many advanced stage pancreatic adenocarcinomas. All right, so here's why it cures cancer. In discrete low dose ranges from 1 to 5 milligrams, naltrexone acts as a glial modulator, specifically binds to toll-like receptor spore, which it acts as an antagonist. Oh God, I'm not going to do this to you, but I understand it, thankfully. So just trust me, it's really amazing. The classic effect of naltrexone exerting opioid antagonism still abides by the traditional dose effect curve. Oh, blah, blah. But anyway, here, let me just explain how it works. Okay. what happens is low dose naltrexone tricks the body. It's not the usual 50 to 100 milligram naltrexone. So it's usually the target's 4.5. You try to take it at night, but if you have nightmares, which can happen the first few days, then you can always take it in the morning instead. See, endorphins triple when you take when the low dose naltrexone disappears from the bloodstream. And you know, endorphins, there are receptors on every single cell in the body except maybe red blood cells. Okay. So it's very important for modulating or normalizing the immune system. It doesn't suppress it like all these drugs that fight autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis and all that do. So, you know, that's just so expensive and so dangerous. I have one patient that had very young for having ankylosing spondylitis. Anyway, he was on high doses of steroids, methotrexate and Concentrix. And, you know, he's kind of a skeptic. Finally, he slowly got off everything except LDN. And now he's only on LDN, much better than he was before on that horrible cocktail. And he works at the library 8 hours a day, feeling great, instead of 4 hours a day, feeling like crap. All right. So by modulating the immune system, it controls the body's inflammatory response. And let me tell you, inflammation, that is at the root of almost every disease and condition, even autism. They have LDN creams for autistic kids, heart disease, cancer. I'll read some of the things that you look at this list of some of the things, the uses for low. And you know what? It's also called the why not drug. It doesn't hurt to try it. Okay. It doesn't. The only contraindications is if you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, you have to watch because your thyroid might get better enough that you need to change the dose of your levothyroxine or whatever you take. And you can't be addicted to opioids. If you are on opioids, an LDN expert will maybe start ultra low dose naltrexone. And you can't have had an organ transplant. That's it, people. And that's why it's called the why not drug. If you talk to LDN experts, they tell us that everyone should be on LDN, even our pets. I got Bella on it and I'm on it. All right. So I just think it's also really would be helpful for the opioid epidemic, because a lot of people who self-medicate with opioids are depressed because of low endorphins, not serotonin, not dopamine, not norepinephrine. It's, you know, many people who have had trauma actually have an acquired defect in endorphin receptors. And, you know, and a lot of people with trauma, they get depressed and so forth. And, you know, but anyway, let me tell you about some of the things it helps. Look at this max and blah, blah, blah. Any inflammatory condition. Okay. Oh, also it regulates the opioid growth factor, which is to say it upregulates the OGF, well, whatever. It's the opioid growth factor is an opioid peptide known as metenkephalin. And that is why it's just so helpful with cancer, okay? Because it can stop this cell division. This also is why it helps multiple sclerosis and other neurodegenerative diseases. Okay. Any kind of autoimmune condition, fibromyalgia, chronic pain of any sort. Let me see. Okay. Try to sift through this shit. Okay. Crohn's disease. There's a big study on Crohn's disease for this, so it seems to help Crohn's disease. You know, the problem is it's so cheap that Big Pharma doesn't want anybody to know about it. They hide it from doctors because they can't make a profit. So it's very difficult to do research, to fund research on LDN, right? So let's see, low dose naltrexone research org or whatever. You know, it's compounded in pharmacies. That's how they make it. They require these compounding pharmacies, if they're going to dispense LDN, to give some money for research. So that's pretty much how they get that. Of course, cancer, depression. We talked about that a little bit. Autism, talked about that. Dissociative disorders, post-traumatic stress syndrome, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I really want you guys to consider taking low-dose naltrexone. I'm not, this is not a sponsorship. I get money from whoever the LDN company, because there's no LDN company. I say this because I care about you, okay? It's really been fantastic in curing animals with cancer. If you look up, cat with cancer, LDN, you'll find many stories, or dog with LDN, canine, et cetera. And so, I really urge all of you guys to let your vets know about this research, because again, it's big pharma. They don't want you to know. They want to poison you. They want to suppress and damage your immune system, not make it normal, because that's not how they can make money. And they want to sell chemotherapeutic drugs and so forth. So anyway, I love you. I know I'm awful about checking the comments in the YouTube channel, and I really am sorry about that, but it's just so difficult. Anyway, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and please share. I know you have a lot of people that have afflictions, diseases, disorders, whatever, that could benefit by this. And if you care about them, and I know you do, please send this to them, please. All right. Love you. Bye.